Hello there, BoBo, the Bitcoiner is back. Every country needs their own reserve to overcome financial difficulties, especially in times of economic hardship. A typical example is the COVID-19, which hit the world in 2020, one of the worst that hit hard on both the government and her population. In the early years, reserve assets are in the form of commodity, then oil, and later gold. Gold has been the popular reserve because of its rarity. Sovereign fiat currency has never respected by other countries. Your money, your gold, your currency and my currency is different. Gold was the only international standard recognized. It was in July 1944, the Bretton Woods Conference, that 44 countries agreed to patch their currency to the gold standard. For instability that has contributed by the Great Depression and the World War II. So an ounce of gold is fixed at $35. Every country start to hoard the gold in their reserve. Because of this gold standard, it restricted government from printing more money during economic crisis. As economies grow, the demand for money outpaced the availability of gold. This imbalance make the system unsustainable. Many suspect that there is not enough gold at Fort Knox. Like countries make a gold run by asking their gold back by paying US dollars to the Americans. Thus come the shocking news from the US President Nixon in 1971, who ended the dollar's convertibility to gold. All gold withdrawal was then suspended. The world has now come face to face with the US dollars as a reserve currency, later backed by the oil dollars, which Kissinger made Saudi Arabia sign oil deals must be made in US dollar in return for security of Saudi Arabia. Thereafter, the world has no other choice but to accept US dollar as a reserve currency. Ironically, by 1973, 2 years after Nixon dispatched gold, gold was trading at around $120 an ounce, reflecting the shift in global confidence and demand for gold as a store value. When US confiscated the Russian US dollar reserve, the world wake up. If US can simply confiscate another country's reserve in the US, how can Americans be trusted anymore? During the last few years, every country is trying to reduce their US dollar reserve and switch international trade to other currency, except for trading with American. The US dollar reserve is losing its dominance and importance. It's a matter of time. The world will not rely on the US dollar trading anymore. Most of the time, a country reserve are in the form of their own sovereign fiat currency and or mixed with the basket of other currencies. This reserve is built over a long period where the country saved their surplus over the long years. The more reserve you have, the stronger the country is economically. But the problem started when a country ran into deficit. That means they spend more than their export of products and services. When still not enough, they print more fiat currency, or without any solid backup plan. The more debt they incur, the more they print. And the debts get bigger, like America today, faced with a debt of $36 trillion, impossible to repay. So every time we talk about the world economic, we have to talk about America being the most powerful economic countries, at least for now, and the near future. America can bring as much as they want. The world don't trust US anymore. So today, establishing a strategic Bitcoin reserve is on everyone's agenda right now, led by the big move from the US administration. Bitcoin is becoming a top-tier asset recognized by the world's financial power. The elevation of Bitcoin to strategic reserve asset status would be a hugely positive development. The currency's progression would demonstrate the extraordinary potential of a digital asset, from ETF inclusion potential to potential national strategic reserve status in the years ahead. This development would likely drive the central governments or central bank to recognize Bitcoin as a qualified asset and expand their associated financial services. The fundamental attributes distinguishing Bitcoin, including transparency and liquidity, offer significant advantage over the traditional asset. This potential widespread adoption of Bitcoin by mainstream finance and the public sector would integrate it throughout the economic landscape, delivering significant advantage for entrepreneurs, individuals, and government. So despite restoring private gold ownership rights in 1974 years, 4 decades of separation combined with government accumulation had transformed gold into a luxury commodity with diminishing financial utility. While Bitcoin has not yet faced similar restriction, the risk of soft banks through government accumulation warrant attention and a real risk. To secure Bitcoin's future value, it must become more open and accessible, allowing even more people to hold and use it. Establishing a national Bitcoin reserve necessitates the creation of open Bitcoin reserve, which would be characterized by the universal accessibility, transparency, and decentralized architecture, and the issuance of credible, transparent, highly liquid reserve-backed asset. The future of Bitcoin depends on maintaining its foundational principles of accessibility and decentralization, while adapting to its evolving role in the global financial system. It's a question of time. Bitcoin will be the future reserve standard for the world. Let's see, all right? Thanks for watching this episode. See you next time. Bye-bye.